For a study, scientists in Great Britain want to expose people to the SARS-CoV-2 pathogen under medical supervision. The new thing about the experiment is the test subjects are not vaccinated. This is ethically controversial. In order to better understand the coronavirus, Great Britain wants to intentionally infect test subjects with a pathogen. Up to 90 volunteers between the ages of 18 and 30 would be exposed to the virus in a, as they say, safe and controlled environment, said the Ministry of Economic Affairs in London on Wednesday. Healthy young people were wanted, they said. The test persons would not be vaccinated beforehand, the DPA news agency quotes a ministry spokeswoman. Among other things, they want to find out how the immune system reacts to the virus and how infected virus particles are released into the environment, it said. The project is due to start in the coming weeks, reports The Guardian, and it will also play a central role in the development of further vaccines. In a follow-up study, subjects are to be vaccinated with a new active ingredient and then exposed to the virus. While there has been very positive progress in vaccine development, we want to find the best and most effective vaccines for long-term use, said State Secretary for Economic Affairs Kwasi Kwarteng. The now approved study could help with the faster development of new corona vaccines. The safety of the volunteers has priority, though, said the ministry. The corona pathogen, which has appeared in Great Britain since March 2020, is used and not the much more contagious variant B1.1.7, which first appeared in the autumn in southeast England. The smallest amount of virus is used to infect patients. Doctors and scientists monitor the subjects around the clock. In view of the possible long-term consequences that also affect young and healthy people, deliberate infections with SARS-CoV-2 are ethically highly questionable. So-called human challenge studies, this is the technical term for the intentional infection of people with a pathogen for research purposes, are controversial. Because one would have to accept that the previously healthy test subjects would become seriously ill. As long as there are no drugs that reliably prevent COVID-19 deaths, the Paul-Ehrlich-Institut does not consider such studies to be justifiable in Germany. The UK Ethics Committee appears to rate the benefits of these studies greater than the risk to the study participants. Last year, the Imperial College in London announced that it would specifically infect subjects as part of a vaccine study. The advantage of such studies is that knowledge about the effectiveness of vaccines can be obtained more quickly. However, the subjects participating in the now announced study will not be vaccinated beforehand and thus have an even higher risk of a severe course of COVID-19, and that may develop them into hospital or they might even die. With more than 118,000 corona deaths, Great Britain is one of the countries hardest hit by the pandemic in the world. At the same time, it was the first Western country to start a corona vaccination in form of a campaign. At the weekend, the country reached its intermediate goal of giving 15 million of the around 66 million inhabitants their first dose of corona vaccine. By the end of April, 17 million more people should be able to get their first dose, including everyone aged 50 and over. In addition, the administration of the necessary second dose should begin. And from my point of view, that is the important part. But one word from me about the study, because since March, the testing wasn't that big, but the doctors were absolutely sure that I had corona. And incidentally, since then, I'm very short of breath compared to the time before. It also, you could say, it has to do with less movement because of lockdown and so, but it is incidentally since March since I had that. And after my 3 weeks quarantine, I realized that I'm much shorter of breath than before. And so I will have to do much more after the pandemic, when we can do a lot of sports and stuff again, to get back on track. And many scientists say there are long-term effects. I hope I get rid of that again, but I wouldn't take part in a study like this with the knowledge I have now and with the way I feel since then. I mean, some of the nasty viewers made jokes about me not being able to speak a certain amount of sentences without gasping for breath, but that's a consequence of March. And it's not nice. So I wouldn't suggest to anyone to take part in a study like this and be infected intentionally. But they are all grown people. They have to know what they're doing, and we will see what happens. And if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel and to my other channels. I'll see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.